This is the kind of game where they haven't had many games like this season where you look at it and go, why were they even out there?
Yeah.
But the last game wasn't great, even though they won.
Mm-hmm.
But this game was terrible from the start. And, yeah, this is a team that needs some sort of a shakeup, whether it be roster shakeup, emotional shakeup, physical shakeup. And Draymond is, slated to come back. He was with the team before the game.
Yeah.
So
he's on the bench.
So, yeah, there's some things coming down the pike. But tonight was just one of those throwaway nights. It's like they barely even existed in the first half.
Yeah. And I know little runs can happen early on in a game, but when the Raptors went up 9-2 and there were 2 Warrior turnovers right away, you're thinking, oh, is this going to be that kind of game? The Raptors led. This was a wire-to-wire win for the Raptors. This is the first time that's happened to the Warriors this season that they never had a lead in the game. They did have 2 20-point scorers, Klay Thompson with 25, Moses Moody off the bench with 21. Klay Thompson is our BMW ultimate performer in this one. He was really the only guy who had anything going on. 10 of 15, 5 of 7. He had a big moment in the third quarter. He hit those back-to-back threes. Maybe the Chase Center crowd had something to cheer about finally. No more boos. But then he was subbed out, just maybe as Klay was starting to get hot there. I don't know. Klay, ultimate performer. He was a bright spot. I'm glad Klay had this, but one man can't do it all. I would say. Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
I mean, I can toss the sound. Yeah, you know what? Let's hear from Klay. The assist right there as well for a flying dunk for TJD. Yeah, let's hear from Klay after this game as, a lot of the players were trying to find the words for this loss.
Klay, do you think it was just one of those nights where you guys didn't have it, or are you concerned with kind of the energy level that you guys came out with?
I think it was just one of those nights. I think we haven't been blown out like that all year, and just one of those nights where we tried to muster up the energy, especially in that third. We made a nice run, but just got nothing to flow, and it's an ugly loss.
Klay, at this point, what's kind of the thing that you're clinging to that gives you optimism going forward this season?
We got Steph Curry. We got myself. Draymond Green's coming back. Chris Paul will be back. We have champions on the roster. And I will never panic, like I said. I really believe in this team, and still have a ton of basketball left, and like what's the point of panicking? Like, we've been through incredible highs and some low lows with this team, so there's no point in just pointing fingers. All you can do is keep working and believe, and I certainly do believe.
What was it like having Draymond back today?
It was great. We missed him dearly, and we'll never be the same until he's in the lineup, but we are eager for his return on the court, and he is obviously the backbone of this team and the heart and soul. So I'm looking forward to just be out there with Draymond again, and he'll be a difference maker.
Klay, is the various different lineups tough to find chemistry on the court?
I don't think so. I think we're all professionals, and we just got to give our best, and we're still, great things will happen when we do that.
Well, when it comes to the starting lineup, the Warriors are using their 13th different starting lineup. We know Draymond will go back in that starting lineup, but until he does, the Warriors are still searching. Tonight they went with Steph, Klay, Wiggins, and JK, and then TJD. So the Wiggins and JK pairing was interesting because Steve Kerr previously described those two as very similar, redundant, I believe was the word. That experiment did not work out tonight. This was the first start for Wiggins since December 12th. Wiggins 1 of 6, 0 for 2, a -29. That's tough.
Yeah.
How did they get Wiggins going?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a problem all season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that, the suspicion is that there's something going on that, just hasn't allowed him to be his full self.
Something physical or something personal?
No, maybe something personal, because
Okay.
physically he says he's okay.
Yeah.
But personal, you don't get into those things because
no.
and it's not up to him to come out and say, hey, here's what's going on,
Sure.
So
Went through something last season. That was a long absence, though.
Yes. So he's been around, but you're right. Steve has said that Kaminga and Wiggins as a pair, it's an experiment. He said it again tonight after the game. He said we're experimenting, but but the numbers aren't good. And so I think at some point they have to figure out what they're going to do with Wiggins and Kaminga. And I say that because if they can't play together, these are two relatively young guys. Draymond's going to come back sometime the next 10 days or so, week, 2 weeks or whatever. We know that Draymond and Wiggins together won a championship. We know that Wiggins and Kaminga haven't really seemed to put much together.
Okay.
So you got to decide, because Draymond's going to start. Does he play with Kaminga?
Can I actually ask you something?
Yeah.
I hope this isn't foolish to ask. Is Draymond going to start right away?
I don't know. That's a fair question because
Okay.
he may not.
Yeah.
He might not, But I asked Steve Kerr before the game, I said, what are the challenges of starting Draymond with Kaminga? Because I think that's a possibility coming forward because Kaminga's been starting for Draymond.
Yes.
So it'd be a little weird that, Draymond comes back and Kaminga doesn't go out. He just moves over to the Wiggins spot,
Okay.
But these are things they're trying to figure out right now. And I think the Warriors have to decide what they're going to do with Kaminga first of all. You took a nice picture of the Raptors.
We'll show that in the next block.
Yeah,
That's right.
but yeah, I mean, and the Raptors have a player that the Warriors have looked at pretty covetedly for a number of years.
Yeah.
And Wiggins is a Canadian. His trade value right now isn't super high, but he
signed an extension last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's still not playing well.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
But Wiggins. We've seen Wiggins play really well. So there is belief that he's not done. He's 28 years old.
No, he's an all-star. He's got a lot left. Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
So it's not like, okay, Wiggins is done. No. So he still has some trade value. But right now, JK has the higher trade value because he's young, 21. He's still on his rookie contract. He got another year after this year. So there's a decision to be made with the Wiggins-Kaminga combination, those two guys. I mean, I can't imagine that both of these guys will be on the roster after the trade deadline.
Okay.
It won't be a one-for-one. I think the Warriors have to make a package deal.
Okay.
But games like this sort of tell you that this season has been a season-long struggle. They've won 5 games in a row. But they've had these losing streaks here and there and here and there. And they've never been able to put together anything that says, okay, the Warriors now look great.
Yeah.
Even when they had the last 5-game win streak, they were still giving up 120 points a game.
Yeah.
So it was fool's gold,
Yeah.
And so they were beating bad teams and allowing bad teams to roll up points. And so when the good teams came in, like you're seeing lately, they're getting hit in the mouth. And so this team is not built to make a playoff run, much less a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
So, we've got 32 days between now and the trade deadline, and Mike Dunleavy is going to be a very busy man.
First-year GM as a head. Yep. And the trade deadline of February 8th. Yeah, we're going to continue that conversation on the Dubs Talk podcast as well. We'll go a little deeper in that. But as far as the game tonight, Steph Curry, 2 for 14. 0 for 9. He wanted so badly to get going. A game where he did not have a three-pointer. Weren't we just talking about Steph saying it's rare those nights where he has, more field goals than threes? His only points at halftime were 2 points from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Why was this such a struggle for Steph tonight?
Well, I mean, first of all, Scotty Barnes is a tremendous defender. Long, he's got a 7-foot-plus wingspan. And teams that have had the best success with Steph have been teams that have had long defenders that are really strong, great defenders. Just because you're long doesn't mean you can stop Steph. But if you're a long defender and you're already a innately good defender, you have a pretty good chance to slow him down. And again, even when Steph had a couple of open looks, he never got any rhythm going at all. And I think Steph, Steph, he gets some rhythm going and the whole place lights up.
Yeah.
But tonight you never saw that. And so, he's going to have a bunch of bad games over the course of the season because everybody does.
Sure.
Tonight was one of those games. He wants to forget this one.
Steph deserves to be human occasionally.
Oh, absolutely.
But what defenses are they blitzing him? Can he not get going? Without CP3 to help him play off the ball. I mean, is there some of that sort of like swirling around Steph too?
Yeah, tonight they didn't do a lot of blitzing.
Okay.
And you've seen that
Scotty.
other team. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's probably 5 or 6 guys in the league that you can say, okay, we're going to try this guy on Steph. and see how it goes. And again, Scotty's great, but I don't think it was all Scotty. I think it's also Steph, just not having it tonight. And so, it's a very good chance that they could play Toronto again, and go to Toronto, and Scotty Barnes will come out and guard Steph, and Steph will light him up. It's very possible.
Steph remembers.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Steph remembers.
And so I think when you look at tonight's game, I think it's a combination of Scotty's defense and Steph just not being on his game.
Gotcha.
Period.
All right, last 7 games, losses to the Nuggets, the Heat, the Mavs, a 6-point win over the Magic, the heartbreaking loss to the Nuggets again when Nikola Jokic hit that wild three-pointer from 39 feet out, a 4-point win over the Pistons, and now this 15-point loss to the Raptors. When we come back on Dubs Talk Live, we need to give you the rookie report here, checking in with those guys. And then, was there a meetup of the GMs today? There was. We'll show you that picture when we come back on Dubs Talk Live.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit Mancini Sleep World. We'll pay the sales tax on select mattresses. Or visit sleepworld.com.
Oh my goodness. First comment I see comes from Percy, who says Toronto is a bad team. Oh no.
They're not. They're
15-21.
Yeah, they're not a good team. No. They have some good players. Scotty Barnes is a pretty good player. RJ Barrett was an all-star tonight. You
never want an opponent to get their season high against you on your home floor. Come on.
RJ Barrett's been a Raptor for what, like 5 hours? And he scores 37 tonight, and they can't. 13-20 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3. 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah.
He was an all-star tonight.
He was an all-star tonight. Otto Porter Jr. was here. He got his championship ring. That was nice to see. All right, what other comments here? Percy, all right, man, my eyes just going to your comments. He said, why would the Raptors want Wiggins? That's interesting. Okay. When we talk about trades, these are people's lives. I don't want to talk flippantly about trades, but if Wiggins is part of a trade block, and if Toronto was one of those teams, that would be a homecoming for him. So, okay, let's just.
And let's be, on that same subject though, when the Warriors traded for Wiggins, there were people who said, why would the Warriors want Wiggins?
That's right.
And the Warriors wanted Wiggins for I thought were pretty obvious reasons. He was a wing, he can score, he can defend, and they needed wings.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Russell was not he was not a good fit here.
No.
So it made sense. And now, I'm not sure, with Wiggins playing the way he is now, last year he started off pretty well. And then he just, things started happening, and then he missed a lot of time, and he never got it again. And this season, it's been just a season-long struggle. So
don't know what's happening there, but I hope he's okay.
So do I.
I hope he's
a
okay.
good dude.
Yeah. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. Why don't we check in with the rookies tonight, because they are having to shoulder more of the load as CP3 is out, as GP2 is out, as Draymond is out. Trayce Jackson-Davis tonight in the starting lineup. He had a double-double. Yeah, he had a double-double. 16 and 11, 8 of 9, but he had this really awesome flurry in the third quarter where he racked up 4 points, 6 rebounds, and a block in about 3 minutes. This kid's a worker.
Yeah, Trayce Jackson-Davis has been a bright spot this season, and I know that the guys on the team they liked what they saw of him. The coaching staff liked what they saw, and I know some of the guys, both the players and coaches, were like, okay, once we get him out there, you're going to see him help us. And I'm surprised it took as long as it did, almost 2 months into the season before he started getting any meaningful run. And now that he's gotten that, you can't get him out. He's got some things. They have 3 bigs. Dario Saric is a great floor defend, a great floor spacer, good shooter, good passer, great offensive player. Not very good on defense. Kevon Looney's a very good defensive player.
Okay.
Set screens, does the dirty work, rebounds. Trayce Jackson-Davis is a vertical spacer. You can throw lobs to him.
Yeah.
He's a rim protector, which neither Looney nor Saric, they don't. That's not what they do. And this team, I go back to the Paul George quote after the Clippers beat the Warriors in early December. He said they don't have a rim protector, so the game plan is to go to the rim.
Okay.
And within a week, Trace Jackson Davis was in the lineup, was getting rotation minutes. And it's like the league knows.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Dario's not going to scare anybody on defense. And Loon, you know, is limited on defense. I mean, he's good, but he's probably better on switches than he is at predicting the rim. So, now that you've got Trace out there, he's a rookie, but he's played more than 100 college games. So he's not one of those 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds coming into the league trying to figure out, you know, which way is up. You know, you can tell he's played some high-level college basketball. And watching him tonight again, you saw him be able to be productive. You know, in 27 minutes, he had a nice game. One of the few bright spots.
Isn't he 20? He's 23 years old, I think.
If he's not 23,
he's 23. And Jonathan Kaminga,
Yeah.
by comparison, is 21, and he's had 3 seasons in the
Yes.
NBA.
Yes.
Okay. And then I was looking at when you were talking about his blocks. Trace had 3 blocks tonight. Hopefully, we can get him on our podcast soon because I want to ask him about the art of the block, positioning, anticipation, that kind of stuff, because he's definitely had a knack for it. Let's talk about Pods, his game. 2 of 11, 1 of 8. Yeah, but what I liked though, he was still aggressive. Okay, he did not have the shot tonight, but he had 8 boards and 4 assists. And if he's shooting and he's still missing him, that's a good open shot right there. You live with these kind of shots. I don't think he was doing anything foolish.
No, you know, that thing about Podziemski is that no matter how, there may be a part of his game that's not good, but there's always a part of his game you say, you know what, this was good for us.
Yes.
You know, and so when a guy of his stature can come in the game and get you 8 rebounds, you know, which is, you know, as many as anybody had other than Trace Jackson Davis, a number 2 on the list of the Warriors.
Yeah, you're talking about your 2 rookies leading the team in rebounding tonight.
Yeah. And so, and you know, he had 4 assists. So you got a guy that has, you know, makes plays for other guys, gets rebounds, gets in the way on defense. He's still one of the top charge drawers in the league. You know, he's really good at that.
He loves that. Well, that endears you to your teammates too.
Yes,
You take those? Absolutely.
I mean, it does 2 things. It frustrates the other team, and it gives your team a little bit of a bump. Okay, let's go. The ball's coming to us right now. So, Podziemski, every night he's going to give you something to like. You know, there may be not everything, but he's going to give you something to like, and that's why it's hard to put him out of the lineup for any length of time. And he's been in the lineup now in the rotation now for about 6 weeks. And I don't know if he'll be out.
At the start of the season, am I mistaken? They thought that these guys, the rookies, typically would spend a lot of time in the G League, and that has not been the case.
No, I mean, I think the idea was that, they would spend considerable amount of time because they have a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
You know, this team, when you
Development.
When you look at this team, you know, you had the classic starting lineup, you know, Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Looney, and Draymond. Then you had veterans behind them. You had Kaminga, Moody, who were going to play this year.
That's right.
GP2. GP2 coming in. Okay, he's going to play this year. You're bringing Dario Saric. He's going to play this year.
9 guys you just named.
And so and you got Corey Joseph. So you've got other guys coming in that you know are going to be able to play. And at some point, you're thinking, are the rookies going to be able to get any rotation minutes? And you see them play, and they deserve them. They deserve them.
They did. All right. One thing I noticed pregame, and I made sure to snap a little picture, was a meeting of the GMs here. I have no idea what they were talking about. Okay, let me not. You know, that's why I just said
Christmas
they were
gifts.
catching up pregame. But listen, there's some subtext here. And I knew when I pressed send, I was cackling. I was like, I know what I'm doing here. Because what if there are going to be trade talks between this team, or just trade talks in general for Mike Dunleavy Jr. in his first year? Because looking at the construction of the team right now, the way that they're playing, how do the Warriors stand pat? I don't think they can.
No, they can't. They can't. I mean, Joe Lacob, you know, he is not pleased with the way the season is going.
Nope, under 500.
Yeah, and so, you know, they came into the season, okay, we got a veteran team now. We're going to try and pull things together after last season's collapse in the postseason. And then, okay, let's do this now. And they started off pretty nicely, and since then they've just been a bad team. And so when you look at Joe's ambition, and everybody wants to win.
Of course.
But Joe, you know, I mean, he's paying a lot of money for this roster. When I say the franchise is deep into the tax, you know, so they're being penalized in that way. And to be a high salary team, highest in the league, and to be below 500, it's like, this is not making sense. And so, and to compound that, when you look at their 5 drafts between 2018 and 2022, they don't have much to show for it.
Yeah.
You know, Wiseman's gone.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole's gone. Patrick Baldwin Jr. is gone. Jacob Evans III is gone. You know, going back to him in the 18.
That's wow, Jacob Evans.
Yeah,
Pulling that name. Yeah.
They drafted 12 guys in that 5-year stretch, and Kaminga and Moody and Guy Santos as well, or what they have left. And Guy's a second-round pick.
Yeah.
But the only first-round picks they have left are Moody and Kaminga.
It's like Nico Mannion, that name.
Yeah, Nico Mannion, Justinian Jessup. You know,
The Australian, that's right. Yeah.
All these guys that they draft and they don't and they don't pan out. So I think in Joe's case, it's like, look, and it was interesting the other night when Steve Kerr, when he benched Kaminga for the last 18 minutes of that game against the Nuggets, and Kaminga had played well.
Yes, he did.
He never got back in the game, and this is a rare. In Steve's post-game press conference, Joe was in the room.
I didn't notice that.
Yes. And so, maybe he was like everybody else. I'm curious to see what Steve says about what happened here with Jonathan, because Joe is a big booster of Jonathan Kaminga.
Yes, he
partly
is.
because they drafted him so high.
Yep.
Partly because they already swung and missed with Wiseman, and now he's like, if we can't get Kaminga going, what have we done these past few years? And so, and Kaminga was playing well, and he didn't play. And as he's watching, the lead goes away, and the Nuggets win on that 39-foot shot. So it's going to be interesting to see how things happen. But the very next night, J.K. played more than 30 minutes.
36, I believe. 36.
So,
and he's in the starting lineup.
Things are getting intriguing around here.
All right. Also intriguing, Draymond Green's return. His suspension is over. It ended at 12 games. Does not mean he's going to be back immediately.
Right.
But we need to talk about the way that he can come back to have an impact on the team. All right, guys. Dubs Talk Live. We'll be right back. What am I saying? The impact Draymond has on the team. Come on. I don't know. Listen, I've got a little bit of
He's
rust.
done a few things over
I've got
the
a
years.
little bit of rust on
It's
me.
okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We all got rust.
Oh, we
Or
got
something.
We got something.
Yep.
I need some sleep. There's a lot of. We need Jonas Jerebko. Some of these names. You remember some
The
of these?
Swedish freak.
Hey.
That's right.
He did. That was his old team. They didn't watch it, Jonas.
Like his second game of the season, I think it was, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, the thing with Kaminga, the Warriors need him. He's fantastic, but he also has the trade value. So what do you do?
That's what I'm saying. That's why the decision's going to be tough, because the Warriors are one of the least athletic teams in the NBA, and Kaminga is their best athlete. So you trade him, you're probably going to be less athletic. You know.
How do you make that deal?
That's what I'm saying. You've got to make a package deal that you think the guy you're getting in return is going to be better for you over the long haul.
But then you got to think that a lot of teams are calling for Kaminga because he has this upside.
Yeah. So they'll have options. Like I said, I mean, I can't imagine that both Wiggins and Kaminga will be on this roster on February 9th. Oh. So, I mean, one of those guys, it just doesn't make sense to keep them both when you don't think they can play together.
Yeah.
And Wiggins isn't playing well, and Kaminga has great value, but I know they do not want to move JK.
Yeah, and we need to make sure that we emphasize that this is not anything personal between these two players. It's
No.
Incompatibility, it looks like on the court.
Yes.
So,
but yeah, JK is someone they definitely want to keep, but you know, he may be their only pathway to get somebody that they really, really love.
So the two extensions that the Warriors gave to Jordan Poole and to Andrew Wiggins. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Draymond Green in the building. So is his son. I saw DJ too.
DJ.
But Draymond is back. He needs some time to ramp up. We love those words when it comes to a player getting their conditioning back, but encouraging to see Draymond fixing a play in this year. Draymond, that's a nice smile. All right. Now, one of the things we talked about in pregame was what kind of leash is Draymond going to have? You know, all eyes on him after this kind of suspension. How can Draymond continue to be Draymond and play with fire, but be careful?
Just, you know, Draymond has played a long time in this league, and he hasn't always been the way he was the last year plus.
Okay.
You know, and just go back to being that guy who was the defensive player of the year. You know, if he can do that. I'm not sure he can, but be that same guy, do the same things that guy did, which is play great defense, impact your team in a positive way, and lead the team, you know. And I think Draymond can still do those things for sure. So I don't know that he's going to be the defender he was 7 years ago. His body's been through some things. But when he's on his game, he's still a top 5 defender in the league. And in terms of guys who can defend multiple positions, I'm not sure anybody's better at it going through 1 through 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other night against Denver, Jokic had, he didn't have a great night in terms of scoring, but he scored enough.
Yeah.
He scored. And if Draymond's out there, he has more trouble. So that's a game they could have definitely used him. And I just think if Draymond coming back, this team's defense has been so bad during this stretch. It was never been great this year, but the last 10, 12 games, it's been abysmal.
Lots of high-scoring games here. There's a lot of ways that they can use Draymond. Did Draymond lose any of his voice in the locker room, do you think? Does his voice carry the same weight?
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part because I think, after the incident with Jordan last year, the young guys got to look at him like, what's up with that? Because he's the leader. He's a veteran. He's a big homie in the building. And this is what he did to Jordan. He's punching down, And so that's the question. I think the young guys, by and large, they seem to have recovered well from that. So I think that Draymond still has a voice because they understand his knowledge, and Draymond is one of the smartest basketball players in the league. So I think the young guys see that and sense that, and they see that his tips, his little pieces of advice tend to work out pretty well for the team. So I think he can get that back.
Yeah, and whatever Draymond needed to work out with a counselor, whether that's ongoing or not, we hope he comes back better. We hope Draymond's coming back in a better headspace to be first a good person, and then that will translate into your job. You have to get right with yourself first before that applies to the job. All right, the end of the 7-game homestand happens on Wednesday. That's an early game, remember, 5:30. It's against the Pelicans, 22-15. Willie Green, Jaron Collins coming back. Pelicans are a
CJ
challenge.
McCollum,
Hey.
Brandon Ingram, maybe Zion.
Listen.
They just smoked the Kings tonight.
Oh my goodness. All right, Warriors. Okay, this is one, we flushed? Is that what Steve Kerr says?
You got
we
it.
We flushed it.
You got it.
No
Torch
tape.
it.
Yeah, torch it. See you guys.
Into
We'll
the fireplace.
We'll see you Wednesday. Alrighty. I see some weirdo comments. Yes, that's right. Wiggs Maple Jordan. That's his nickname. That's right.
One of his nicknames, yeah.
Yeah, one of his nicknames. Choosing Wiggins over where did this go? Choosing Wiggins over Kaminga is like choosing Monte Ellis over Steph Curry. Listen, some of these comments are crazy.
Well, the thing is that Kaminga is the one guy who I know that any team that's going to trade one of their better players is going to want.
Yeah.
They're going to want him. And the Warriors are like, if they trade Kaminga, it'll be because they are absolutely convinced that the guy they get in return is going to be
has more upside,
a foundational piece going forward.
Okay,
they have to believe
there
that.
There are few players like on the trade market like that, though.
Yeah, I don't, and even like there's so much talk about Pascal Siakam. I'm not sure he's that guy. He's really good, but I'm not sure he's a number one. I don't think he's a number one guy.
Okay,
a good number 2 or 3, but not a number one guy. I don't think so. But Kaminga, you don't know what he is yet either. You don't know if he's a number one guy. I don't think he is. I think, because number one guys have several things going for them, and athleticism is just may or may not be one of them.
Okay.
They're able to control games in other ways. And Kaminga controls games with athleticism and his ability to crack the paint and get buckets at the rim. That's not controlling a game. That's giving his team a lift, occasional lift. Mm-hmm. But it's on this team, he's the one guy who can do that on a pretty regular basis and get to the free throw line. Yeah. And every team needs a guy like that. And so if they lose him, again, the guy they get back in return if they decide to trade him, got to be someone they really believe is going to be, okay, he's our next guy. He's going to help us get to the top.
All right. It feels like the trade urgency is heating up, and I'm sure this is going to be something we'll be talking about all the way into February.
Keep losing, it's going to keep heating up.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for Dubs Talk. We'll see you again soon.